Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Sarah and today I want to share my corporate journey of the last 10 years. I am not here as a motivational speaker or an English expert. I am just a regular working professional who learned many things slowly, step by step. I started my career around 10 years ago, right after my studies. Like many of you, I was excited, but also very nervous. It was my first time working in a corporate environment. New office, new people, new rules, and of course, English everywhere. I am sharing my journey because I know many people struggle in the beginning, especially with English communication, confidence, and fear of making mistakes. I was also in the same place once. This video is for freshers, young professionals, and even people who are already working but still feel uncomfortable speaking English. If you think you are alone, trust me, you are not. Through my experience, I want to tell you one simple thing. You don't need perfect English to succeed. You need clarity, confidence, and practice. So if you are starting your career or feeling stuck, this video is for you. Let's begin my journey. I still remember my first day in corporate life very clearly. I was feeling nervous, excited, and confused all at the same time. I was excited because it was my first job, but I was nervous because everything was new. New office, new people, new system, and a completely new way of working. The office environment was very different from college life. In college, we could speak freely and casually, but in the office, people spoke politely, professionally, and mostly in English. Everyone looked busy, confident, and serious. I felt like I didn't belong there on the first day. Then came my first meeting. I didn't understand everything, but I kept nodding my head. I was scared to ask questions because I didn't want to sound foolish. Honestly, I was scared to speak English in meetings. I knew the ideas in my mind, but the words didn't come out. After that, I got my first task. It was simple, but I was afraid of doing something wrong. Even writing my first email was stressful. I spent almost 15 minutes thinking about the subject line. I checked my email again and again before clicking send. Of course, I made small mistakes. I used wrong words, missed deadlines, and misunderstood instructions. Once I replied OK to a very formal email and later realized it was not professional. But looking back now, I smile because everyone starts like this. Mistakes are not failures, they are part of the learning process. One of the biggest struggles in my early corporate life was English communication. I could understand basic English, but speaking fluently was very difficult for me. I knew what I wanted to say, but when it was time to speak, I got stuck. My sentences were broken. Sometimes I mixed English with my mother tongue, and many times I stopped in the middle of a sentence because I didn't know the right word. The biggest fear was making grammar mistakes. In my mind, I kept thinking, what if my English is wrong? What if people laugh? What if I sound unprofessional? Because of this fear, I stayed quiet in meetings. Even when I knew the answer, I didn't speak. During conference calls, my heart used to beat fast. I was scared someone would suddenly ask me a question. Understanding different accents was another challenge. Some colleagues spoke very fast. Some had foreign accents. Many times I didn't understand completely, but I said yes or okay. Later, I realized I had misunderstood the task. Corporate English words were also confusing. Words like alignment, deadline, stakeholders, follow-up, and escalation sounded very big to me. At that time, I felt corporate English was a different language, but slowly I understood one important thing. In corporate life, perfect English is not required. What matters is clear communication. People don't expect you to speak like a native speaker. They expect you to share your idea clearly, even if your grammar is not perfect. This realization changed my mindset. I stopped trying to speak perfect English. I started speaking real, simple, spoken English. And that helped me grow. After struggling for some time, I realized one thing very clearly. If I wanted to survive and grow in corporate life, I had to improve my English, but slowly and patiently. I did not join any expensive course or class. I improved step by step in my daily work. One of the best ways I learned was by observing my colleagues. I listened carefully to how they spoke in meetings. I noticed how they explained ideas simply. I also observed how they handled questions calmly. Emails became my biggest learning source. I started reading emails very carefully. How people wrote subject lines, how they started emails, and how they ended them politely. I didn't try to write long or complicated sentences. Instead, I focused on short, clear sentences. Slowly, my confidence improved. Meetings also helped me learn. At first, I just listened. Then I started speaking small sentences. Even one line in a meeting felt like a big achievement. I also picked up some common corporate phrases that made communication easier. For example, let me check and get back to you. Can we connect on this later? I'll update you by end of day. Let's align on this. These phrases saved me from panic. I didn't have to think too much. I just used them naturally. Over time, my English didn't become perfect, but it became comfortable. And comfort is more important than perfection.
No corporate journey is complete without mistakes and feedback. And honestly, my first negative feedback was very hard to accept. I remember the day clearly. My manager pointed out mistakes in my work and communication. At that moment, I felt bad, embarrassed, and demotivated. I kept thinking, am I really fit for this job? Emotionally, it was difficult. I felt like everyone was better than me. I even questioned my abilities and confidence. But slowly, I understood something very important. Feedback is not personal. It is about improving work, not about blaming the person. Once I changed my mindset, things became easier. Instead of feeling hurt, I started listening carefully. I asked questions. I noted down the points. I used feedback to improve my communication. I worked on writing clearer emails. I spoke more slowly and clearly in meetings. I stopped worrying too much about small grammar mistakes. Each feedback helped me become better not just in English, but as a professional. Today, I am thankful for those early mistakes. They taught me that growth happens outside our comfort zone.
Emails and meetings were two areas where I learned the most in corporate life. Writing my first professional email was not easy. I didn't know how formal it should be. Sometimes it was too casual, and sometimes it was too serious. In the beginning, I made many mistakes in subject lines. Either the subject was too long or it didn't clearly explain the purpose. I also made mistakes in tone. Once my email sounded rude even though I didn't mean it. Slowly, I learned that emails should be clear, polite and to the point. Simple words work better than fancy words. Reading others' emails helped me understand this. Meetings were even more challenging. The first time I spoke in a meeting, my voice was shaking. I was worried about my English. I was worried about people judging me. Many times I knew the answer to a question, but I stayed silent. Because many of us know the answer, but fear speaking. Over time, I learned something very important. In meetings, it is not about speaking more, it is about speaking at the right time. I learned when to listen carefully. I learned when to speak briefly and clearly. Even one good sentence is enough to make an impact. Now, I see meetings differently. They are not scary anymore. They are opportunities to share ideas and learn from others.
As the years passed, I started noticing small but important changes in myself. The biggest change was confidence. Earlier, I was scared to speak. Now, I could express my thoughts clearly. My English was still simple, but I was no longer afraid of speaking. I started taking calls confidently. I participated actively in meetings. Sometimes, I even led discussions and explained tasks to others. This felt like a big achievement for me. Another proud moment was when I started mentoring juniors. New joiners came to me with questions about work, communication, and even English. I saw myself in them. I always told them one thing: don't worry about perfect English. Focus on being clear. Over time, English stopped feeling like a problem. It became a tool. I used it to share ideas, solve problems, and build connections. I felt comfortable in English. Not perfect, but comfortable, and that is enough in corporate life. Today, when I look back at my journey, I feel proud. Not because my English is flawless, but because I didn't give up. And I truly believe this. If I can improve, anyone can. In corporate life, we don't work alone. We work with managers, teammates, and sometimes clients. Each group communicates in a different way. Managers usually focus on results and clarity. They prefer short and clear communication. Teammates are more casual, but still professional. Clients expect polite, respectful, and confident English. In the beginning, this was confusing for me. I didn't know how formal I should be. I spoke the same way with everyone, and that didn't always work. Slowly, I learned that communication style matters. Polite English is very important in professional life. Casual English is okay, but only in the right situation. For example, instead of saying, "Send me the details," I learned to say, "Could you please share the details?" Instead of saying, "I can't do this," I learned to say, "I'm afraid I won't be able to take this up right now." Saying no professionally was a big learning for me. You don't say no directly. You explain politely and offer an alternative. This is what professionalism looks like. It is not about fancy English. It is about respectful and thoughtful communication. Over time, this helped me build better relationships at work. People trusted me more, and I felt more confident in my communication. I want to share a message with all freshers and English learners. If you are just starting your career, please remember this. Everyone feels scared in the beginning. Everyone makes mistakes. You are not alone. The best way to improve English is to practice a little every day. Speak whenever you get a chance. Listen carefully in meetings. Read emails, and try writing simple replies. Don't wait for perfect English, start with real English. Most importantly, don't fear mistakes. Mistakes are proof that you are trying. Every mistake teaches you something new. If you have a similar journey, I would love to hear from you. Please share your experiences in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel confident. And always remember this. Your journey may start with fear, but it ends with confidence. After spending 10 years in corporate life, I have learned many lessons. But when it comes to English and communication, 4 lessons stand out the most. The first lesson is this: English doesn't need to be perfect. Many people wait to speak because they want perfect grammar. But in real life, perfection is not required. What matters is that people understand you. The second lesson is about clarity. Clarity is more important than grammar. A simple, clear sentence is better than a long, confusing one. If your message is clear, your English is good enough. The third lesson is about practice. Confidence does not come automatically. It grows when you speak again and again. Even small conversations help build confidence. The fourth lesson is often ignored, but very important. Listening is as important as speaking. When you listen carefully, you understand better. And when you understand better, you speak better. These lessons did not come in one day. They came with time, mistakes, and experience. And they changed the way I communicate today. I want to share a message with all freshers and English learners. If you are just starting your career, please remember this. Everyone feels scared in the beginning. Everyone makes mistakes. You are not alone. The best way to improve English is to practice a little every day. Speak whenever you get a chance. Listen carefully in meetings. Read emails, and try writing simple replies. Don't wait for perfect English, start with real English. Most importantly, don't fear mistakes. Mistakes are proof that you are trying. Every mistake teaches you something new. If you have a similar journey, I would love to hear from you. Please share your experiences in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel confident. And always remember this. Your journey may start with fear, but it ends with confidence. Thank you for watching.